Told myself I was never moving back to the suburbs. Here we are, 2020, heart of the lockdowns. I was so happy I lived in the suburbs. You couldn't go anywhere in the city. The suburbs were a lot more relaxed depending on where you were. I was actually super grateful where I was living during the pandemic. It's funny how different perspectives, different life experiences, where you're living changes and what you want changes. Welcome back to the channel, guys. In this video, I'm going to outline 5 of the top reasons why people shouldn't move to the suburbs of Chicago or are leaving the suburbs of Chicago, to give you more of an idea of what some of the negatives are living in the suburbs of Chicago, especially the south suburbs, so that you have a more clear and confident understanding of if you really want to move to the south suburbs of Chicago. If this is your first time on the channel, welcome. My name is John Sintich. I'm your go-to for all things real estate in the Chicagoland area. I am a licensed broker in the state of Illinois, so if you need anything real estate related, hit me up. I'm more than happy to discuss that with you. My contact information is all in the description of this video, along with some other helpful resources to help guide your decision making and aid in your real estate journey and process. The suburbs of Chicago are great, in my opinion, especially the south suburbs, but it's not for everybody. And I'm gonna outline right now 5 of the top reasons why you shouldn't move here. And stick around to the end because you're definitely gonna wanna hear number 1. We'll start at 5 and we'll count down to 1. You're definitely gonna wanna hear number 1 because it's probably the most important reason why you shouldn't move to the south suburbs. Let's start with the 5th reason why people might not like the south suburbs, and that is entertainment or lack thereof. Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of great bars and restaurants and things to do in the south suburbs, and I am more than happy to point you in the right direction of those establishments, and I frequent them quite a bit myself. However, the level of entertainment, the quality of entertainment, the things available to you is just not the same in the south suburbs as it is in the city of Chicago. I know, shocker. But if you are used to living in a big city where there's just everything and anything to do at any given time, you could walk 20 feet down the street from your apartment and you're in an arcade from the 80s, you're in a music hall, you're in a Jamaican nightclub. There's just everything you can imagine. It's just not quite like that in the south suburbs. But for a lot of folks, entertainment starts to go down your list of priorities as your life changes, as you have kids, as you're focusing on your career. So again, it's not for everybody, but for some people it's not gonna matter that much. So just keep that in mind. If entertainment is a huge priority for you and where you live, then the south suburbs just might not be the best option for you at this time. The 4th reason people might not want to live in the south suburbs is going to be traffic and transportation issues. I'm just gonna lump those 2 in together because they go hand in hand. So the walkability of the suburbs is low, meaning if you step outside your home, you're probably going to need a vehicle to go run errands, to go and run and pick up something from like a drugstore or like a convenience shop, go visit your doctor, go to the dentist. If you do not have a car, you're going to have a tough time navigating your area. It's not really like the city where you can step out of your house, walk 20 feet and be in a convenience store, or maybe your dentist is literally in the same building that you live in. It's just not like that in the suburbs. You definitely want and are going to need a car to navigate the area. You can't just step out and get on a bus or take the L. There's not really anything like that in the suburbs. Also, traffic. Commuting into the city can be a pain in the butt sometimes. When there is not, especially during rush hour, when there's no traffic, you can get to the city from the suburbs, depending on where you are, in 45 minutes to an hour, sometimes 30 minutes. With traffic, it can take 90 minutes to 2 hours, depending on how south you are of the city, and if traffic is bad enough. This is something I struggled with mightily. I can be patient in some areas of my life, but traffic I just struggle with. You know, I tend to get very anxious. I tend to scream at my car. Nobody in the car, I'm screaming. I'm punching the steering wheel. I'm a pretty patient guy, but when it comes to traffic, I kind of turn into a barbarian. And a lot of people, it's very similar. It wasn't enough to keep me out of the suburbs, and I have adjusted since moving back to the burbs from the city, But the first few months were pretty rough for me. It tended to be pretty difficult for me, but I've gotten over that now. You just accept it, and that's just one of the downsides of living in the suburbs, is making that commute to the city when you want to go in and do these various things that you might want to do in the city. So if you can't handle traffic, or you don't have a car and you don't want a car and you're not going to get a car, the South Burbs might not be the place for you at this time. Number 3 is weather. The weather in the South Burbs is just not the best. We're in the Chicagoland area, we are in the Midwest. If you're from the Midwest, you already know. But if you're relocating, if you're thinking of relocating from another area like California, please pay close attention to this next part because it's very important. Yes, we have seasons here, fall, spring, summer. They are beautiful. The summer and the fall is amazing here. It is one of the best places to be in the summer, hands down. But when the winter rolls around, it's pretty rough. When that first frost hits and it is winter, you have to batten down the hatches because the winter here is brutal. We can get down to negative 20 degrees at some points. The wind chill is really what kills us. The wind is bad here, and when the wind is blowing in the winter and it's cold, it is freezing. You have to bundle up and you just have to deal with the cold, and it gets into your bones. It does harden you as a person. I know myself and my neighbors, we're stronger, we're tougher individuals for dealing with the Chicagoland winters, but it's not fun when you're in it. It also makes you appreciate the summer so much more. You just get such a rush of happiness, and people you can see, it livens them up. The whole area just gets rejuvenated with life. It's beautiful. So warning, if you cannot handle the cold, do not move here. It's not gonna be fun for you. Okay, second to last issue why people might not want to live in the South Burbs. There can be a lack of cultural diversity in the suburbs, or at least a feeling of it. Don't get me wrong, there is a ton of different cultures that live in the suburbs. You'll find any and all cultures in the suburbs. It just might not feel like it as you drive through downtown. It can kind of be a little bit plain, a little bit bland. Whereas like in the city, like I said earlier, you can walk into like a Jamaican nightclub and go across the street to get Middle Eastern food and go sit down and get authentic Japanese cuisine. In the suburbs, it doesn't have that feel. You'll be walking down the street, you'll hear 5 different languages in a half a block. It's just quite not like that in the suburbs. It doesn't have that same feel. So if you're someone that really puts a value on living around and being immersed in so many different cultures, the South Burbs, you might want to reconsider that as well. Okay, so I'm about to tell you the number 1 reason why you might not want to live in the South Suburbs. Before I do that, if you found this video helpful, you enjoyed it, it resonated with you in any way, please like the video, subscribe to my channel. I have tons more videos like this that I put out every week, and it will help YouTube blast this content out to more people that might need to see it and might benefit from it. Again, I am a licensed broker in the state of Illinois, so if you have any real estate needs whatsoever, my contact information is included in this video. Reach out to me, I will respond to you, and I'm more than happy to do so. Okay, number 1, the number 1 reason why you might not want to live in the South Suburbs is property taxes. Illinois is home to some of the highest property taxes in the country, and the South Burbs of Chicago are no exception. Depending on your suburb that you live in, your property taxes can be somewhere between 1.5% and 3% of the value of your property. In some areas, that means you're paying essentially a second mortgage on your home. That's what it feels like every month. And it can really eat into the affordability of what you can buy if you're looking to purchase something in the South Suburbs. So it can be kind of a bummer. We also have sales tax, and we have state income tax here as well. And so all that kind of eats away at your bottom line a little bit. So it's definitely something to consider before moving here. There you have it, guys. 5 reasons why you might not want to live in the South Suburbs of Chicago. It's not for everybody. Some people are leaving. They're moving across the state line to Indiana. They're moving down to Florida, they're moving to Tennessee. If you do have plans to move to the South Suburbs, I am more than happy to help you with those plans. You can reach out to me at any time. My phone number is in the video, and it's in the description of this video as well. So hit me up, and I will see you on the next video, guys. Take care.